All right, so let's talk about how easy it is to basically run an AI agency, right? Too many people overcomplicate the AI stuff, all right? Like AI is the huge buzzword, but in the end, there's a million and one things that you could do with all the AI tools and AI things that are out there. But there's really no better way to get your start and to gain momentum and to build a business where you can consistently start making money and then grow that money consistently than taking a process that was already proven and existed before AI and then adding some AI into it versus trying to come up with these new AI things that people think everybody wants. In the end, marketing and business haven't changed since the beginning of time. They're all built on the same foundation, right? Businesses want to increase the amount of customers they get so that they can make more money and grow. Simple. It doesn't matter what phase of the world or life journey we're in, whether AI exists or it didn't exist. That's been what businesses have wanted to do since the beginning of time. Marketing, the whole purpose is to essentially advertise the business, advertise the services or products of a business, so that customers that would potentially want those products or services become aware that that business exists so that the customer can be connected with the business so that the customer gets what they're looking for. And then again, it fulfills the need of that business, which is looking to, why is my face frozen like this weird, I'm on Facebook, gave me some weird face that it froze me on. Anyway, so that it doesn't matter whether AI exists or not. Those are the foundational things of marketing and business. Okay. So the beautiful thing about that is you can be prepared, or you can step in and start running a business like ours where we sell marketing and advertising to local service businesses, typically service-based, but you can do product-based, but mainly service-based. And we come in and we sell advertising to them. That's our business. So knowing that business and marketing haven't really changed, that's a good thing to know. Whether AI is here or AI disappears, the premise stays the same. Okay. Now, having said that, we can use AI now, which we didn't have access to before, to make things a lot easier and faster for us to run that business, to start, run, and grow that business. Okay. So we're going to use a principle that, again, has been around before AI, and that's to simply use the results first principle, right? That's where results first strategy. That is where we are going to approach a business with some sort of result. We're going to provide a result ahead of time before we're paid to show them that we can give them a result, that we're not just talk, we're actually going to show them a result. And then the goal is to get paid for that result and then sell them more things. Okay. And again, this, whether AI exists or not, this principle, this foundation, this strategy works and can exist, okay, with or without AI. And so there is a whole bunch of things that we could end up offering a business, right? All kinds of marketing, advertising, digital marketing type services that we can offer, but we're going to focus just on a handful total that we offer. And for our results first strategy, we are going to focus on a digital marketing or a service basically that all businesses need and or want, okay? And usually a combination of both, okay? And that is going to be giving them a professional, beautiful functioning website, okay? Now, the immediate question is, well, don't most businesses already have a website? Absolutely, Okay. And that's why it is the perfect starter service. So let me explain. Basically, when you are going to approach a business and offer a result ahead of time, okay, you want it to be something that they need or want. So let's break down, we said a website. So let's break that down. One of the first things a business puts into their to-do list after a business owner decides to start a business, one of the first things in their to-do list is to get a website for their business. Okay. All business owners are aware that a website is going to be beneficial to their business, right? So it's already kind of ingrained in their head that it's something that their business needs, right? And so therefore, when they start their business, it is one of the first things that they, again, put on their to-do list and ultimately will end up having for their business. The thing about that is when they first get started, not a lot of businesses have a big budget. So when it comes to getting the website together, they're either going to do it themselves using some kind of like GoDaddy website builder or something where they just kind of piece it together using some kind of templated thing. And it's just going to be what it is until, just to get going. Or they know someone who knows someone who knows someone whose cousin works in their mom's basement and can do a website for them and piece something together. And so they're going to get something like that. Or maybe they scrape together enough money and they do get something from someone that looks halfway decent, or maybe it looks okay. But what ultimately ends up happening is over time, they outgrow it in potentially many different ways, along the same lines of someone driving a nice car or a car period and eventually wanting a new car, right? So that's the cool thing, right? Well, everyone has a website. Well, everyone has a car. So why do people get new cars? Right? Well, because people get tired of their car or they outgrow their car, right? Or for whatever reason, they could scrape together enough money and that's the car that they get, but they now want a better car because they're in a better position. All these things. So every car that drives down the road, okay, it doesn't mean that they're happy with that car. It's the same thing with websites. Everyone pretty much has a website, but it doesn't mean they're happy with it, right? And the ultimate example is you can see someone driving by in a Lamborghini and be like, oh man, they have it made. But in that, they could be sitting there saying, man, I really wish I had a nice BMW sedan instead. Or, I really want a Ferrari instead. Even when you think someone has a nice one, or even when someone has what we would deem a nice one, there's still that potential there that they still want something else. Okay. So that's why it's the perfect thing, because it's something that they need or want, and it's always there. They're not going to get rid of it. But they will get a new one. Okay. Now let's compare that to, say, a marketing service like Facebook ads or something, right? It's a popular thing to sell businesses. Oh, Facebook ads, right? Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of businesses that would love to have Facebook ads, but there's also a lot of businesses that don't even think about Facebook ads. It's not even on their mind. They don't care. Like, it's not something that they involve in their business or they care to have in their business, especially when their business launches, right? Businesses are really good about getting together a bunch of things organized and getting their business launched and then having no money left over for marketing. But you know what they do have? A website, right? So they already value the website way higher than they do marketing services. So that's why we want, in that whole strategy of start with a result and then get them to pay for the result and then ultimately sell them other things. Well, the very first thing, that result strategy, the result service, we want it to be of something that they need or want, right? And we already just discussed why marketing services might not make sense for that, but why the website does. Okay, so that's why we lead off with that. Okay, and again, it's just to start a conversation. We don't know if they're going to ultimately get a website, or if through the conversations that we determine that they say that they even want a new website. They might be satisfied with that car that they're driving, but it doesn't mean that they don't want some accessories to go with that car, right? Or in this case, they're maybe happy with their website, but it doesn't mean that they don't want marketing services, but we at least got the conversation started with that website. Okay. And so that's the whole premise of what we're doing. Okay. It's really that simple. And so the business, right? All we need, if we already know the service we're going to provide, right? So we'll walk through what the steps actually look like. Okay. So first and foremost, it's about finding businesses. Okay. For one, they're all over the place. Okay. we can just go to Google and we can just go to Google and we can search Kansas City med spa. Okay. And then we have a bunch of businesses right here. Okay. And, here they are, right? So we literally could, again, because we don't know who needs a website and who doesn't, we literally could just start reaching out to these businesses, right? So we can pick a niche and go to any location in the country, really in the world, and start going down and looking at opportunities here, right? And we could literally just reach out to all these people. Okay. So we have opportunities that are just out there. Okay. We could also just narrow it down to people who don't have a website listed. Okay. Again, it doesn't mean that they don't have a website. This business probably has a website, but Google just didn't find it for some reason. So it's missing here. What does that allow us to do? It allows us to start a conversation. Okay. So we literally could just go and start out there into the world and start asking businesses in any kind of niche, in any location. And we can even, again, try to narrow it down a little bit and just start with the businesses that don't have a website listed. Okay. And we can go through various pages of this and go through and do that. Right now, that is what we'd call a cold prospecting strategy. That is where we don't know if they need help. Okay. So we are going to go to them and ask them. Okay. We are going to them. They're not coming to us asking for a website. Okay. So that's cold prospecting. Well, if we want to get started and increase the chances of us getting sales faster, right? Speed up our opportunities in terms of being able to get a client that pays us money for a website. It actually would be better to start talking to people that are already asking for a website. Okay. Well, these people aren't asking. They're just there, and we would go out to them. So this is better to add on later. Okay. After we're maxing out our opportunities of people already asking. Well, the question is, where can we go where they're already asking? Well, that's why there's places like freelancer.com. Okay. Places like Upwork. Upwork is the biggest community, but I typically show that in the video. So I like to show occasionally something different. So we can look at a place like Freelancer. There's guru.com, but these are job posting sites where businesses from around the world will come and they will post asking for help for a variety of things, for services, for project, for certain types of people to help them, translators, interpreter, whatever, just anything you can think of, help with a Google spreadsheet, or an Excel document or something, anything around any kind of problem a business owner faces, they'll come to these sites. Okay. Need a logo for something, whatever. Well, one of the things that they ask for, that people come to these sites for, is ask for website help, right? Either a brand new website or a website redesign, which is essentially them saying, I want a new website. Okay. And so the easiest way we can find work. Okay. All these sites have the same kind of thing where you can search for jobs. Okay. And so here I'll just go to find work and let's look at website jobs. Okay. Again, we're not logged in, so we're not going to see the most current thing here, but let's look at what it lists here. And you can see here, there's like 578 jobs found right here, 578 related to web design. Okay. And so it's going to be a variety of things, but in the end, we're looking for stuff like this. Okay. Construction website, and they want a social marketing revamp. It means they also want some social media marketing as well, which is cool because we can then add that on after the website's done, or farm that out to someone else if we don't know how to do that or don't want to do that. But the goal is to start with that website, and in this case, they have marketing and a website all in one. So we kind of got them kind of good here. So we found an opportunity. Okay, so the second part of this is we're going to do a results first strategy. Okay. These guys are asking for a website. And again, we're just looking for simple website. And this meets it for now. We want a fully developed website ready to go, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So they gave us the information. So the next thing is we want a results first. Okay. So basically we want to kind of give these guys, when we reach out and submit our proposal, right? Basically, all we have to do is say, yeah, we can do this. Okay. That's the beautiful thing about this. This is what's called warm prospecting. Okay. They are coming to us. They are sitting here saying, I have money. Can someone please build me a website? Okay. That's warm prospecting, where they're waiting. They're coming to us. All I have to do is show up and look. And here they are asking for help. Okay. So this is the type of prospecting that we want to start with. Now, on to what I was saying. So all I really have to do is I could, like everyone else on here, just kind of reply to this, submit my bid, and say, yeah, I could definitely build you a website, and this is something that we can help with, and all that good stuff. But we use a results first strategy. Okay. So even when they're asking for it and they're just looking for proposals, I can go ahead and deliver them a website kind of right away. And I want you to know, when I say results first and we're going to be delivering these websites, okay, all we're doing is we're just getting a partial solution. We're going to take information about what they're wanting or the business, and then we are going to build a website around that to show them and say, hey, here's what we've done. The goal would be to them say, oh, wow, this is beautiful. Yes, I want to hire you and pay you to do this. Now here's the changes, and here's the things that we would want to see on it. Then I would give the final build out, right? Then we would do the final solution at that point. So I want you to understand, you're not expected. I'm not telling you or saying that what we're going to do is deliver the perfect, like, this is the exact thing they're looking for. We're just trying to get in the ballpark so that they see what we can do and they see it's related to what they want. So it's kind of like we're delivering this thing that's pretty much already done. They're like, oh, wow, this is kind of what I was looking. Maybe I would do this and this. And then they kind of start dressing it up a little bit, kind of change it. Oh, I'd maybe move this here. And that's part of the sales psychology here, is by doing a results first strategy, is when we provide that result, they kind of are able to start taking ownership of it then. Like, it's them they're able to start kind of saying, okay, well, this is mine. Now here's the changes I would make to fully make it mine. They're already kind of taking ownership, versus everyone else here is going to say, oh, I can build this and I have a portfolio of all this. And they're going to show them maybe some stuff that they've done before. Whereas these guys are going to get something that literally is pretty much already what they want. So it's way easier for them to just give the project to me or us, right? Because we've already pretty much done everything that they want. It's final touches, and they're already starting to kind of take ownership by these little dressing it up a little bit, cleaning it up by the changes that they want. Okay. So that's kind of the psychology that we're doing. But now the biggest question is, well, how am I going to build this site? Well, back in the day, right, I talked about before AI, and then after AI, like the strategy, this business still works. But the strategy itself, what we're using as the results first service, if you will, might not have been the same until AI or before AI, because building a website back before AI was very challenging. It involved, you might have to use WordPress or a lot of coding, a lot of technical stuff that made it really hard to do in general, but also definitely as a results first strategy. If I was constantly having to build a website from scratch for every person that I was prospecting to, but the business would go nowhere, right? That's a dead end business, because you would get tired of it after the first couple and be like, this is too much work. I'm not even selling anything yet, right? Because it doesn't mean you're going to sell one every single time. So we could get a lot of no's before we get that first yes. Well, if I'm constantly building a website from scratch and it was taking me hours, days, weeks to put together a website, for one, I would barely be talking to anybody because it would take me so long. And then two, I'd get discouraged so quick. Well, that's where AI has really stepped up and overlaid on a proven process and made it way easier. So now, because AI exists, I can build this website in minutes, not hours, days, weeks, or months, that will allow me to do this very consistently. And if people say, no, it's okay because it takes minutes, and I'm not even having to do really any of the work at all. Okay. So how does that work? Well, we have a tool that we can use. Okay. In this case, we're going to use Lovable. Okay. Lovable.dev. there is a free plan that I can get started on. By the way, I can be on Freelancer, Upwork, Guru, all for free to start. Eventually, I will max out the free credits I get to be able to bid on projects. That's fine. Okay. Until I max it out, I can use it for free. But once I start maxing out, cool. That means I'm doing enough work to justify then upgrading to whatever the next level plan is. Usually it's like 20 some odd bucks a month. So I can get more bids and be able to bid on more projects, which is fine because that's super cheap compared to the money I can make. Oh, by the way, how much can I sell these websites for? Well, I can sell these websites anywhere from $500 to $3,000. Easy. Why? Because historically, websites have cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 just over the history of time. Before AI existed, for sure, 5 to 10K is what a normal local business website would cost. Okay, so the precedent has already been set. Okay, it's already been anchored to that dollar amount. So when I come in with 500 to 3,000, it's a no-brainer because I'm doing the same kind of quality as those 5 to 10K, but I'm able to come in cheaper because I have this nice tool to do this for me. And by the way, what's the budget on this one? 500, 1,500, 3,000, right? So what did I say? 500, 3,000. And there we go. Here's proof positive right here. And this is the upper end of the range. Okay. Now, real quick, a differentiator in that price. Well, Jason, how do I know to charge 500 versus 3,000? Well, if you have never sold a website before, start with 500. Okay. Till you get confident and sell it. If you're saying, well, no, I'm confident to sell it at 3,000 because I know websites cost $5,000, then start at 3,000. Pricing is just relative to your confidence. That's it. It's why you might be hesitant to charge 3,000 for it and you charge 500 instead, but then someone else says, no, I know websites are typically cost 10,000. I have no problem selling it for 3,000. And they come in and sell it for 3,000, same website. It's just confidence. That's it. So if your confidence isn't there yet, start at 500. Sell a couple at 500 so you get confidence. Say, okay, yeah, this is easy. Then step it up. Next time, sell it for, instead of 500, sell it for 1,000. And then once you sell it for 1,000 a couple times, then step it up to 1,500, and then step it up until you find your sweet spot where you're confident and the sales justify the amount of proposals and stuff that you're doing. Okay. And then remember, this is the means to an end, right? In terms of, if I use the right term, this is just getting my foot in the door. The ultimate goal is to then sell them reoccurring monthly marketing services, right? So I need to find that sweet spot of pricing that gets me more yeses, but still puts a filter. So I'm not constantly downgrading my work, but I'm confident with the pricing. I'm able to sell it confidently, which gets me enough yeses that I can then start stacking reoccurring monthly marketing revenue on top of that as well. Okay. All right. So now back to actually building the website. So I have this awesome tool called Lovable. Okay. The beautiful thing about AI is it's way smarter than I'll ever be. Although there's some limitations, right? And AI isn't always perfect, but when it comes to stuff like this, it's pretty doggone good. And all I'm going to do is that I'm going to say, I need a website built based on the following project. I'm going to space down, and then I'm just going to copy the entire project here. Okay. And then I'm going to paste it in. Now I'm just going to look through, and I want to just treat this as if I'm talking to a web designer. So what information would I tell the web designer, and which information doesn't make sense to tell the web designer? Because remember, this person wants this project, they want marketing and website. So I just need the website built. So I'm going to take out anything related to marketing because the website builder, the web designer is not going to do anything with that. I just need to give it enough information to build the website. Okay, so let's just look at this. My firm, digital refresh, need a professional looking corporate style website rebuilt from the ground up, clear objective, attract more clients. New site should be mobile responsive, fast, optimized for SEO with a clear project gallery, calls to action, easy use. Yep, blah, blah, blah. Alongside the website, I want ongoing social media presence. Okay, again, not needed for the website. So let's get this. Okay, they want ads, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what do they want for deliverables? Okay. Okay, they want 30 days of content, monthly management. Okay, so we don't need to give this anything because it's fine. That's more related to what they want to see from the project, but this is not needed for the website build. Again, blend strong web design, practical social media marketing know-how. Okay, so all this is not needed as well. Again, this is kind of what they're looking for in a person. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to submit that. Okay, so this is everything that they said in their project about the website. Okay, and so what Lovable is going to do is it's going to do a couple things. It's going to take whatever I put in there and take that information and say, okay, yeah, I want a construction website. They want it to be mobile friendly, perfect for SEO. So it shows higher in Google. Now it didn't used to do this. It used to just build, but it's also got a lot smarter. It's gotten way more comprehensive. Lovable will ask you little questions like this. I have options. I can just say skip and just let it pick, or if I have a preference on some things that I wanted to, like it's asking me what color fits your firm. Okay, I actually don't know. Okay, now I could just pick one, or it looks like you'd actually write your own. Hey, make it more bold or red or whatever, or I can just say skip and just let it figure it out. Just for grins and giggles, I'm just going to pick this color. This seems like a good construction color because it didn't give guidance on the colors and everything. This is a great example of me just getting the 90% solution. All the colors and what it's going to say and images, stuff, that can all be changed based on what the client actually wants if they hire me. Okay. I just want to give them pretty much the 90% solution that pretty much is a construction firm website that kind of has the things that they're looking for. They will tell me the specifics of what changes that they would like to see to actually get it fully what they're looking for. But this is going to get it close enough that when they see it, they're going to be, yeah, this is pretty much what I'm looking for. That's what I want out of this. I don't care about it being perfect. It just needs to somewhat resemble what they're looking for, because again, everyone else is going to be submitting proposals saying, yeah, I could build you a construction. Here's a great example of a site I did for a chiropractor. Someone else is going to say, oh yeah, I can, here's a bunch of websites I built. I've been a web designer for 10 years. And here's one that I did for a gym or a med spa, whatever. They're going to say all that crap. And then the person would have to look at the templates and say, okay, well, that's a med spa. I can kind of see the design. I'm giving them a construction website, pretty much what he already wants. And he's kind of said what he kind of wants already in terms of what the site should look like. Lovable is smart enough. It's going to use its AI brain to go out there and kind of research that kind of stuff. It's also going to start looking at other construction firm websites out there and pulling the different components that seem to be common amongst them. And it's going to put together something that is, again, pretty much that 90% solution. That's why we're going to stand out, because everyone else is going to be saying, yeah, I could do this. And here's my history. Here's my portfolio. We're going to say, hey, here's a site I built for you. Okay. Now, how are we going to do? Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. You got to pay attention to this. I'm obviously talking and teaching at the same time. So it was asking me more questions about, so again, the more information you provide it, the more tailored the focus would, the tailored the result will be. But as you can see, I can just hit, say not now. It's talking about enabling a back end, because it talked about having a back end to be able to log in and stuff like that. I'm just saying, let's skip that for now. I don't need to do anything but just get a website design to pop up. Okay. So when you do this on Lovable, just pay attention to questions it'll ask. And again, if you don't know the answer, just hit skip all. Okay. So now it's going to start doing its thing. All right. It's putting together some stuff for the website. Now, we talked about the proposal, right? Okay. Well, what do I need to say in this proposal? Well, we want it to be a results first focus, and we want it to highlight the website, because once this website's done, we're going to get a link for it. We want that link to be in our proposal. So while it's building this, I don't think there's going to be any more questions. I think it already asked all the questions. Let's go over to, I'm just going to go to Chat GPT. Let's start a new chat. Okay. Okay. So we're just going to be in Chat GPT, and now let's get a proposal while the website's being built. Let's get a proposal for the website that we would submit. I need a freelancer proposal for the following freelancer project. I want a spot in the proposal to highlight. Okay, I should say this. I have already built a demo site based on their project request. I want a spot in the proposal to highlight the link to the demo site and focus the proposal on my results first approach versus simply telling them what I could do for them. Okay. And now I'm just going to paste the whole thing in. Okay. And because it mentions social media marketing, also highlight, actually, you know what? I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to mention the social media marketing. It will go ahead and include some stuff about social media marketing. Okay. That's it. All I'm going to do is paste the entire project in here because I need for AI, in this case, I'm using ChatGPT. You use whatever you want. I needed to look at the full proposal the full project so that when it does the proposal, it addresses all the things that the client is looking for. Okay. So let's just go ahead and do that. It's going to spit out something here. Let me double check on the website while it's doing that. Okay. It says, hey, I left the placeholder where you can paste your URL, and here it is. Rather than tell you what I could do, I decided to show you. After reading, I built a custom demo based on your requirements, see my approach, see my style. And then I would just put the link here. I'll show you where to grab that link, but it's already got me a nice proposal here. Okay. I can change this for the website. I recommend, it talks about recommending WordPress. I would just say, no, I built it on Level. Matter of fact, let's just do that. Okay. Let's say I actually built the website in Lovable and would build access into it so they could log in and make changes as they wanted. Also mention some generic info about how I can also help them with the social media marketing aspect of the project. Yep. And so now it's just changed it up, created custom, and then it's going to include all this stuff. So it eliminates WordPress. And then now we're also addressing the social media stuff. Okay. So anyway, so I have this and I can keep adjusting this. If I wanted to say, well, I'm nervous about saying that, I would just tell AI, hey, I'm nervous about saying this part, or I'm unsure about this or whatever. And I can have a conversation with, in this case, ChatGPT to help me get the perfect proposal based on my feelings and also what I'm trying to convey. Okay. So just understand it's as easy as me continuously chatting with this. Okay. But in this case, I could take this and just copy it and paste it in to freelancers. Now let's get back to the website. Okay. So the website is being built still. Okay. So all that's going to happen with this process is exactly what I just kind of laid out. Okay. I'm going to start on using it with a warm prospecting method. In this case, I'm on Freelancer, but I would also and probably preferably prioritize Upwork because it's like the biggest one. It's like the Google versus using DuckDuckGo, right? Some people are like, oh, I use DuckDuckGo. That's cool, but 90 some odd percent or whatever percentage now use Google. Okay, so I'd rather be on Google if I'm doing whatever versus DuckDuckGo. It's okay to be on DuckDuckGo or Yahoo or whatever, but Google is where most people play around. It's more important when it comes to the projects posting, right? If more people are posting projects on Upwork, I want to be there. Okay, so I would be on probably all the different places so I can maximize my opportunities. All I'm doing is I'm looking for projects like what we found where people are asking for a website or a website redesign. I'm going to come over to Lovable. I'm going to paste in the project, just the portion that involves the whatever specifications they're giving about what the website should look like, how it should feel, all that other good stuff. I'm going to feed that to Lovable, let Lovable do its thing, but I also need to pay attention. That's why it's a little slower, because I didn't see the questions that it was asking me. So you just skip them or pick an answer based on what it's asking you. While it's building, I can pop over to, again, I use ChatGPT. You can use whatever you want, paste in the project and say, I need a proposal based on this project. I've already built the demo site. I want to highlight that in my proposal and then let it spit out. And then at this point, I'm just waiting on the website. I will, once it's there, I'm not looking to really make any changes at all to it unless there's something really weird. Okay. Like if I see when it pops up, right, it should be almost done. It's checking loading and stuff like that. When it pops up, okay, if there's a big picture of a clown on a unicycle juggling, has nothing to do with a construction site, I will change that, right? That's the kind of things I would change. But if I'm like, well, I don't really like the button, no. Does it look like a website of a construction firm? Okay, that's all you need to know, because you're just trying to show them that you can build something along the lines that they're looking for. They will tell you what they want to change. Don't start messing with it and then taking tons of time making little changes that are insignificant. Okay, so again, I'm just looking for major issues like pictures of clowns juggling on a construction site, right? All right. Okay, perfect. Look at this beautiful website. Okay. Now, I probably could have said, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is overseas. It kind of gave it like an English flair. I can tell by the, like if the phone number, it used like an overseas, the way it's spelled program. Okay. I can easily simply say, hey, this is a US based company. And then it will change it. It will change it to US based numbers and stuff like that. Okay. And when it asks me about location and stuff like that, I could have said then it's a US based company. Okay. So I didn't do that. So pay attention to that. Normally it doesn't do this. I don't know why it assumed it was overseas. That's the only thing. So this is an instance where I would make that change. Okay. Now, because it took so long to make the site, all I would do is chat and it would change that out. Okay. But other than that, this looks beautiful. Okay. This looks beautiful. Yeah. Accreditations, all kinds of things. It has all these pages already built in. It literally already has the pages built. Right. So this is a beautiful website that I would use in my proposal. Okay. Again, I would change it to a US based. Again, just chat. Say, hey, this is actually US based website. So change anything that alludes to it being an overseas, a non-US business, and make it US based. Okay. Once I had it the way I wanted it, again, it changed all this overseas stuff to US stuff. I would hit publish. And then I could call this whatever. I would potentially just call it construction firm, maybe. In this instance, construction firm, maybe, is what I would call this. So I would publish and I would change this to construction firm. Okay. Okay. And then it's going to make it that URL. Now, if someone else has already had used construction firm, that's kind of a common couple words. So maybe someone's used that. So it might not be something that I can use. I just add something else to it, like X or Z or something at the end. Ideally, if I knew the name, right? And actually I could have just named it Meridian. Let's do that instead. And of course I froze it up. Okay. Oh, there it is. So it already changed it. All right. So I could publish it now and it would be on that link. And I would just take this link and put it in the proposal. I could also change it if I wanted a different, oops. Actually, let's change this to Meridian. Meridian Construction. Okay. So you've seen if it was a name that was already taken, it would tell me. Okay. So anyway, I have this. I'm just going to hit publish so I'd show you what it looks like. And then it's going to be on whatever I put there, meridianconstruction.lovable.app. If you're like, Jason, I don't want to use that Lovable link, whatever, it will give me an option. Okay, it's live. If I wanted to, okay, I can add a domain here. So I can go buy like a demosite.com and then add that here. And then I could actually make this one meridianconstruction.demosite.com. And then it doesn't show Lovable. And then say on the next project, it's for a med spa. It's for Julie's Med Spa. I could then make the name of that one, Julie's Med Spa .yourdemosite.com. So I can keep using that same domain that I buy for all the projects. So anyway, it doesn't matter. So I can use this or I can just set up my own. And then all I'm doing is I'm taking that link and I'm pasting it here. And then I'm taking this whole entire thing. And actually I would take this whole entire thing, paste it in the freelancer. When I do the bid, make sure I paste the link to the website in there, hit submit. And then what am I doing? I'm going on and looking for more projects. And then I just keep doing that over and over and over again. All I'm waiting for is for people to reach out because you're like, well, what if they award it to me and I don't know what to do? Here's the thing. If they're interested in working with you, it doesn't matter which site it is. It always works the same way. They will message you. Okay. They will message you first before they award you because they're going to have a question. They're going to say, hey, I'm thinking about awarding this to you. I seen your project. Can you tell me this? And they'll just ask you some questions. At that point, it's just a conversation. Okay. If they decide to award it to you, they'll have that conversation first. Okay. That's also when the price is officially discussed. And then if you guys are both on the same page, they'll award it to you. And then all I'm doing is, all right, cool. Well, what changes would you like to see? They probably would have already told you that. What am I going to do? Right? I'm going to copy and paste what they say they want to change right in to Lovable and have it done. And that's it. Okay. And that's it. The goal is then I deliver that website. It's done. I'm paid for this project. I get a review. So now my profile is going to be a little stronger. It's going to stand out more. So that makes it easier for me to keep getting future projects. Also, I'm going to have a conversation about marketing. I'm going to say, all right, cool. Now the website's done. What are you all currently doing about marketing? Now, these people have already asked for marketing. So it would be a nice, easy follow-on already to the end of the project. And what's really cool about this is that they asked for 30 days. This is going to allow me the opportunity to easy transition to doing marketing for them and then set up ongoing monthly marketing services. And that's the real beauty of this business model. Okay. My foot in the door with the results first strategy was something that they need and or want, usually both, the website. And it gets the conversation going. It makes it a nice, easy pivot to marketing services afterwards, which are ongoing. And those services can go anywhere from $500 to $2,500 a month, depending on what I'm selling them or how many services I sell them. And so one client can turn from if I'm just starting a $500 website deal to end up adding $2,500 a month from just that one client. Okay. You do that with 4 clients. Okay. You're at $10,000 a month. So the beautiful thing is it doesn't take many clients for me to achieve any kind of financial goals that I want. So if I want to do this part-time, okay, it's easy to add a little side hustle money. But if I want to transition this into a full-time business and ultimately leave my day job, it's set up and structured that if I just consistently doing this, I can absolutely do that too without having to work with hundreds of clients. Okay, it's a beautiful business model. And again, this exists, this model, this strategy exists, whether AI exists or not. That's the beautiful thing. So say there's something else that comes after AI, right? Some other future that we can't even fathom what it's going to be. The strategy still works just like it worked before AI and before all this stuff. Okay, it's going to keep working. We're just going to continue to have access to better tools and things that make it easier to accomplish the strategy in the process. And that's it. Make sense?